I'm interested in this conversation. He's going to put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who? What do you mean by that? The president is in charge of the military, is he not?
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Scott Jennings destroying yet another panel on CNN. This time it was about the role of the president. Hey, what does a president do? What are his powers? What can he not do? Now, you would think if you're going to be on news television and argue about the president's role and what he's trying to do and how he's trying to circumvent the Constitution, you would think if you're going to be on TV talking about stuff like that, that you would know what you're talking about. But of course, we've seen time and time again on television that these people don't know anything. They don't know a thing. And Scott Jennings can kind of shine in this format because he can be of, in my opinion, above average intelligence, not a super genius like Elon Musk, but a smart guy. He could be that and just completely dominate. They put these, what we call tomato cans in front of them. Okay. Like it's easy to knock them out. They have no depth. They present themselves as intellectuals and all this and that and the third. But when you really get them in the room, when you really talk to them, they're empty. They have nothing really. They got big words that they learned from a university, but they don't really have any knowledge about how the world actually works. Okay. Now, before I go any further into it, let's get to the video. Of course, I will link to this full video in the box. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Thousands of jobs here in this country. So the American dream is still alive and well.
I don't think the employment rate has actually shifted in favor of the American.
Well, I'm just saying, what about when the Keystone Pipeline shut down? They said, oh, go get jobs at the new Green Deal.
Hey, learn the code. Learn the code is what they said. Learn the code.
So are they transitioning people from the federal government to these corporate jobs?
I'm just saying it's America.
Both of you all made an interesting point, which is that your view is that Trump is shredding the Constitution. I'd like to hear more about that. But that it seems to me that you all both believe that the unelected part of our government, the bureaucracy, has a responsibility to resist the political leadership. Is that your view?
That's not actually what
not at all.
We said they are upholding the Constitution, the principles of the Constitution, and at times
how is Trump shredding the Constitution?
My God, he's like
like, you got to answer the question. Whenever someone asks you a direct question in this kind of debate format and you laugh and look away, it's because you don't have an answer. If I'm on this panel and Scott Jennings is asking me that question, I'm going to have an answer. If I'm going to make the argument, I'm going to be able to back up my argument. That's basic debate 101.
I mean, seriously, do we have to give you a civics lesson that we have?
I don't know
we put all power in the executive branch, the legislative branch, the FBI. Now we're in control of the military, silencing media. This is what you do in a dictatorship.
Are you suggesting that the president is not the commander-in-chief of the military?
I am suggesting that the president is going to put in charge somebody who is going to contravene the Constitution. And at some near point, this conversation will look very silly for you because it will be obvious. And right now, you're gaslighting. But when we get to the actual rubber of the road of this, it will be clear.
I'm interested in this conversation. He's going to put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who? What do you mean by that? The president is in charge of the military, is he not?
Deer in the headlights. Deer in the headlights, like, huh? What? Really? Huh? He had no idea that the president is a commander-in-chief. He is the head of the military. So this guy, Toure, the guy that has a deer in the headlights look right now, I've seen him before. I've seen him many years ago on BET interviewing R. Kelly. Do you like teenage girls?
Do you like teenage girls? When you say teenage, how are we talking?
That was on that kind of interview. But anyway, he, in my humble opinion, is out of his depth on this kind of panel. You have to know that the president is in charge of the military. You can't go on TV and not know that. You're in your 50s, you married to a woman, surprisingly, and you got kids. Come on, man. Like, this is completely embarrassing.
You said he's going to put someone in charge of the military?
Look, his face throughout this entire time, this is only a couple of seconds between him dropping that nuke that the president is the commander-in-chief in charge of the military. It's only been a couple of seconds, but if you knew that, then you'd be able to say something. He was completely frozen right here. And he had to get saved by Abby Phillip. You just heard her voice at the very end. When I paused it, you just heard her voice. That's part of Abby Phillip's role. It's her show, of course, and the star is Scott Jennings. But Abby Phillip's role is to be the only other smart one and step in to save the panelists when they're being defeated by the vastly more intelligent man than Scott Jennings.
President is in charge of the military. That is how it works.
This is important conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm letting you have it. Yeah, I mean, I think it is important because there is this perception that Trump does want to push the boundaries of what is in his constitutional lane. And his staff secretary said that apparently he signed an executive order saying that only he and the attorney general get to say what the law is. So that's the type of thing that I think that Trump has said that has caused people to question, what does he mean by that?
I don't think he has done anything in the first month that is outside the bounds of the power vested in him by the Constitution.
That's right. Now, before he continues, before he continues educating Toure over here, why would Trump appoint someone to circumvent his own power? See, it doesn't make any sense. Like, we got to understand the roles of government. We got to understand the powers. We got to understand the Constitution before we go on TV and start talking. Okay, you have to know things. Like, if I don't know something, I'm not going to talk about it. I have to know about a thing to speak about a thing.
He was elected president. We, according to the Constitution, vest all executive authority in a president. And the concept that the military should be an independent agency or that the bureaucracy should resist the political leadership of this government is extraordinarily dangerous.
That's what we said. That's a straw
not
man.
what we said.
That's literally not what we said.
I'm just repeating back to you your own words.
I did not say resist.
What are the?
I know when I say
I'm gonna pivot us a little bit because I think
Abby coming to save the day because Abby know that Scott is right. Abby knows. Abby's a smart woman. I like her, actually. I'm not a fan of her politics at all, but I think that she is a professional, and I can respect her for that.
we're kind of getting in a circling the drain here. But Elon Musk, I think today in this this cabinet meeting, there were some interesting optics of it all. I mean, he wasn't at the table because he's not a member of the cabinet, but he was one of the only ones who spoke except for J.D. Vance. He stood in the corner and kind of held forth for a long time. And the reporting from CNN today is that there.
I want to pause right here. Now, the purpose of this video was talk about Toure and Scott Jennings and whatnot. But since I'm right here right now and I got your attention, the media were very funny covering this. They were talking about, oh, Elon is at the head of the table and J.D. Vance is in the corner. In reality, he was not even at the table. He was in the back behind the people at the actual table because he's not in the cabinet. And there was just a moment of the meeting where they asked Elon Musk a question, and this moment became the entire story. That's how the media does, okay? Because he's in the back, close to the point of a table. They say he's at the front of the table, although he was not at the table. That's how the media does. Now, shout out to Scott Jennings. Shout out to Abby Phillip for coming to rescue Toure. Toure, bro. Come on, man. You are a journalist, and you are, from what I'm able to gather, a respected journalist. And you don't know something basic like that. Now, I can understand if you're just a normie in the street and you don't know what the president's powers are. I get it. I understand. Because that's not what you do every day. You're just going to work, taking care of yourself, taking care of your kids. You might not know that, and that makes sense. But if you're a journalist and you're on CNN, on television, on network news, and you don't know that, and you want to see, and it's one thing to just not know something. It's another thing to not know something, but then make an argument based on knowledge that you need that you don't have. It doesn't make any sense. Like I say, if I don't know something, I'm not going to speak about it. If someone asks me a question about a thing I don't know, I say, I don't know. I'm going to just do that. What he did was crazy. You're going to try to argue against Scott Jennings, and you have no idea what you're talking about, and you have to get saved by Abby Phillips on television. Completely embarrassing. I would suggest that Toure do a little bit of reading, a little bit of research. You know what? You can read the very first thing you can read is the U.S. Constitution. Read that bad boy front to back. Take a little pop quiz online to make sure you have all the information. Then go back properly armed to face this man. Because if you don't have this knowledge, if you don't have the information, don't even go on TV and try to engage in a debate. Simple as that. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about Toure having a deer in the headlights look when he was informed that President Trump is, in fact, the commander-in-chief in charge of the military, the head of the military? So it doesn't make any sense for Trump to appoint someone to circumvent his own power. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just really silly. But whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about the panel with Scott Jennings? I'm surprised somebody called him a racist because the optics of that panel look kind of crazy. You know, you got this white man destroying this. It was like Toure, a fully grown man, 50-something years old, wife, kids, looked like a little boy while being spoken to by Scott Jennings. He didn't speak to him as a little boy, but he spoke to him from a level of superior intellect. It was just a mismatch in a debate partner. It was bad. Like, I'm surprised somebody called him a racist. I'm glad they didn't and just took the L. I'm glad Toure just didn't say anything, had the deer in the headlights look, and I'm glad that Abby Phillips came in to rescue him to move the whole thing along. Because if she didn't pop in, it would have been even worse. It was bad enough just seeing that, but it would have been a lot worse if she didn't have to come to his aid. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.